didn't include announcements. Like the last one too.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
It is good to be here tonight with all of you and all of you joining us on our stream this evening for our Shabbat services. As we begin Shabbat together, let's just take a moment to reflect on the week that we have had. As you think about that in your mind's eye, picture yourself in all the places that you were, with all the people that you were with. Some of this week may have been exciting and happy. Some of this week may not have been so exciting. It might have been sort of mundane, but that's important as well, the daily things that we do. And some of it may not have been such a great part of the week. But as we enter Shabbat, we take a few deep breaths, take one in and let it out. And we take another one in, we hold all of the good things that happened this week. And then we let go of the hard things. Because as we stand at the door of Shabbat, we come into a space of hope. We come into a space of peace, a space of shlemut. So let's begin on page 181. At the top of the page are the words of Ki Eshmera Shabbat. As I keep Shabbat, God watches over me. Oti le'omead beino uveini. It's a sign forever between me and God. Ki eshmera Shabbat, el yishmereini. Ki eshmera Shabbat, el yishmereini. We welcome Shabbat with light. It's my pleasure to call upon Zach, who's going to lead us in lighting the Shabbat candles. The blessing is on page 23. And Zach, you'll choose one of the readings on 20 or 21 for us.
Okay. We'll read page 20. On this day, we would see the world in a new light. On this day, we would add new spirit to our lives.
On this day, we would taste a new time of peace. We would rest from desire from gain and ambition for things.
We would raise our eyes to look beyond time and space toward eternity. And may we come to see the world in a new light.
As it is written, let a new light shine upon Zion. May it be our blessing to see its splendor.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu b'hadikner shel Shabbat. Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu on the top of page 25, we sing the last stanza, the words of Yadid Nefesh. Higalena ufros chavivi alai, et sukat shlomecha. Higale, gale, la, ufros chavivi alai, et we continue on page 27, at the bottom of the page, the words of Erev Shabbat. Ruth McRae, would you lead us there?
Who am I that she should wish to spend the day with me? I try out my strengths, cook, move dust, casually insensitive to all the songs, remind me that she, the queen, in diamond, ruby, emerald, blow tiara, would come to grace my table.
She comes no matter how the week was spent, in joy or in silliness, yet she comes, and I am her host, laying a linen flower tablecloth that is white, that is all the colors of the rainbow.
Come, my Shabbat queen, embodiment of worlds to be. Your gracious kindness is our breath of life. And though we once, twice, all too often fail to say how beautiful your cape, how lovely your hair, your Shekhinah eyes, we will not always be so lax, apathetic to your grace, your presence.
Touch us again this week with your most sweet loves and tenderness, and we shall sing to you our songs, dance our dances in your honor, and sigh for you our sighs, longing, peace, and hope.
Let's
continue on the bottom of page 33 with the words of Psalm 92 in English. Elena, would you lead us there?
A song for Shabbat. It is good to give thanks to the Eternal One, to sing hymns to your name, O Most High, to tell of your love in the morning and your faithfulness in the night, to the sound of the lute and harp and to the music of the lyre.
Your deeds, O God, fill me with gladness. Your word moves me to song. How great are your works, Eternal One. How profound your design.
The righteous shall flourish like palms, grow tall like the cedars of in Lebanon. Rooted in the house of the Eternal, they shall be ever fresh and green, proclaiming that the Eternal is just, my rock in whom there is no wrong.
On page 36, we turn to the words of the Baruch, the formal call to prayer, as we rise in body and in spirit. We continue together in the words of Ma'ariv. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, melech haolam, asher bidbaro ma'ariv arabim, v'chokhmah poteach sha'arim, u'bitbuna meshaneh itim, u'machalif et hazmanim, u'msader et hakochavim, v'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzonu, borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, Uma'avir yom, u'mevi laila, uma'avdil ben yom u'ben laila. Adonai tzvaot shemo, el chai v'kayam, tamid yivloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'ma'ariv arabim. Loves us, your people Israel. As we turn to the words of Shema and Ve'ahavta, we rise in body or in spirit. Page 40. Shema Yisrael, Adonai
Shartam, Vishitecha, Vetecha, Uvetecha, Vaterech, Ushoftecha, Ukumecha, Ushartam Leot, Amedecha, Vehayutecha, Venecha, Usvatam, Amazon Vetecha, Uvishamecha, Leman Tizkuru, Va'asitem, Veshkol Mitzvotai, V'yitem Kedoshim, Le'elohechem, Ani, Adonai Elohechem, Asher, Hoseti Eshem, Be'eretz Mitzrayim, Liot Lachem Elohim, Ani Adonai Elohechem, Amen.
Please be seated. So we turn to the words of Micha Mocha. Let's do the Debbie Friedman piece on the bottom of 43. And the wind dancing with the kindles, follow near, and she sang a song, sing a song to the Lord, and we've exalted, hearing and the wind dances against the night. And here was a weaver of unique variety, the tapestry she wove was one which sang our history. With every thread and every strand she crafted her delight, all woman touched with spirit, she dances for the light. And the wind dancing with the timbrels, followed near, and she sang a song, sing a song to the Lord, and we've exalted, hearing and the wind dancing against the night long. Miriam stood on the shore and gazed across the sea. The wonder of this miracle she soon came to believe. Who ever thought the sea would part with an outstretched hand, and we would pass to freedom and march to the promised land? And the wind dancing with the timbrels, followed near, and she sang a song, sing a song to the Lord whom we've exalted, hearing and the wind dancing against all night long. As you redeemed Israel and saved us from arms stronger than our own, may you redeem all those who are still oppressed and persecuted. We praise you, Eternal One, the Redeemer of Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. Bottom of page 45, the words of the night prayer, the words of Hashkivenu. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu Shalom.
Amen.
turn together to page 49 for the words of the Chatzi Kaddish. Yitgadol v'yitgadash shmei Rabbah Be'amad yivrach yirutei v'yalich malchutei B'chai kol yom echad U'chayei b'chol beit Yisrael Bagala U'bizman kariv V'yaru Amen Yesh le'Rabbah mevorach Ve'ad le'olam le'omaya Yitbarach Yitbarach Yishtabach Yitpa'ar Yitramam V'yitnaseh Ve'yitadar V'yitaleh V'yitalal Shmei Kodesham Le'ela min kol birchata b'shir ha'tov Tushbechata v'nehemata Tahiram be'alma V'yaru Amen Adonai Sebatai Tiftachu V'yagid Tehillotecha Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Abraham, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Ha'gadol Ha'gibor Ha'menora, El Elyon, Goel Chasadim Tovim, V'ganei Hakol, V'zacher Chasei Ha'ot, U'le'le'im La'alim Ne'ehem, Le'man Shemot Le'ahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach Mo'in, Baruch atah Adonai, Magid Avraham, Be'ezras Sarah, Atah Gibor L'olam Adonai, Mechayei Hakol atah, Rav Yoshia, Mechalkei Chaim B'chesed, Mechayei Hakol B'rachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim, Rofeh Cholim, U'matir Asurim, U'kayim Tov B'shnei Afar, Mikamocha V'yalgurot, U'milo Melach, Melech Lemitim Chayei, U'matzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah L'chayot Hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, V'chayei Hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom ya'alucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Please be seated. We turn to words of Kedushat Hayom, the holiness of this day, at the bottom of page 55. Ruth Ostrauer, would you lead us there?
Where has this week vanished? Is it lost forever? Will I ever recover anything from it? The joy of life, the unexpected victory, the realized hope, the task accomplished.
Will I ever be able to banish the memory of pain, the sting of defeat, the heaviness of boredom?
On this day, let me keep for a while what must drift away. On this day, let me be free of the burdens that must return. On this day, Shabbat abide.
And now Shabbat has come. Can it help me to withdraw for a while from the flight of time?
Can it contain the retreat of the hours and days from the grasp of a frantic life? When all days abandon me, Shabbat abide.
Let me learn to pause only for this day. Let me find peace on this day. Let me enter into a quiet world this day. On this day, Shabbat abide. The top of page 57 are the words of the Avodah prayer, as we pray that our prayers are received with love. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu, page 60, the words of Hoda'ah, words of thanks. We gratefully acknowledge, eternal God, that you are our creator and our preserver, the rock of our life and our protecting shield. We give thanks to you for our lives which are in your hands, for our souls which are in your keeping, for your wondrous providence and your continuous goodness, which you bestow upon us day by day. Truly your mercies never fail, and your love and kindness never cease. Therefore do we put our trust in you. O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm and praise your name in truth. Eternal God, whose name is goodness, we give you thanks and praise. We turn to the words of Shalom Rav on page 63 as we pray for peace. Shalom Rav, Yisrael, Tasih Le'olam. Shalom Rav, Yisrael, Tasih Le'olam. Ki atam be'levado, lechol shalom. Ki atam be'levado, lechol shalom. Shalom Rav, Yisrael, Tasih Le'olam. Shalom Rav, Yisrael, Tasih Le'olam. V'tov beinecha le'olek et amcha Yisrael, le'cholet u'chosha b'shlomecha. Shalom Rav, Yisrael, Tasih Le'olam. Shalom Rav, Yisrael, Tasih Le'olam. Tasih Le'olam. Tasih We take a few moments now to pray the words of our own hearts. Page 66. May the one who causes peace to reign in the high heavens let peace descend on us, on all Israel, and all the world. Oh, say shalom, shalom, Yirumah, Uya, say shalom, Aleinu, Ve'al kol Yisrael, Ve'al kol bnei Adam. Oh, say shalom, shalom, Yirumah, Uya, say shalom, Aleinu, On the Shabbat, we also think about those in our family, those our friends, and all those people whose lives are at this time in need of healing. So we turn to the words of the Misha Beirach prayer on page 133. As we ask for healing for them, we ask for comfort and for strength. Here at Solel, especially this week, we're thinking of Patty Bryce, Bud Aris, Ian Silver, David Wozniak, Charlie DeAndrea, Marty Steinmetz, Keenan Turner, Bridget Hansen, Dennis Hansen, Joe Tortel, Sharon Burr, Robert Ledger, Harvey and Marlene Friedman, Raymond and Francis Rigby, Consuelo Franco, Shirley Herman, Rebecca Bodville, Philip Shepard, Dee Hickey, Lorraine DaCosta, Adela Tsur, Al Lofsky, Evelyn Tyndall, Amanda Schenk, Daniel Black, Jean Elizabeth Pitt, Francis Van Tyne, Bob Smith, Reverend Joan Hedge, and Liba Aharona Bat Shemaya Besara Leah. And if there are others for whom you are praying for healing on the Shabbat, I invite you to share their name aloud with us at this time. We sing these words praying for their comfort and for their strength. Bottom of page 80, you'll find the words for the Bracha Matir Asurim as we continue to pray for those who are still held hostage. We sing these words together. Baruch atah man walked into a restaurant, sat down at the table, and when the waiter came by, he ordered a bowl of soup. The waiter brought the soup and went away, and just a moment later, the man called him back and said, "Taste this." The waiter replied, "What's the matter? Is it too hot? I can cool it down a little bit for you." "Just taste it," he said. "Is it too cold? I can warm it up for you. Just taste this, said the man. Is it too salty? Just taste this. Finally, the waiter said, okay, I'll taste it. Where's the spoon? Aha, said the man. Those are the little details that are really the most important, and we dare not forget them. Our Torah portion for the Shabbat Tzav focuses on these little things, just as the short story illuminates the importance of one small detail, a soup spoon, that makes it possible to enjoy a bowl of soup. As in most of the book of Leviticus, this section of Torah describes ritual observances and ceremony, which is carefully prescribed, lots of details for offerings of meal, guilt offerings, offerings of well-being, offerings for transgressions, all of the roles that the Kohanim and the Levites performed. It opens with the word Zot Torat Ha'olah. This is the law of the burnt offering. This Torah portion doesn't speak about lofty ideals. It doesn't speak about exalted principles. It covers the hard work that the Kohanim and the Levites were commanded to do. Rabbi Jonathan Sachs reminds us that the ancient Hebrew word for hard work is avodah. This word also means serving God. It's the word that we use for prayer. We call it avodat shabalev, the prayers or the work of the heart, serving God. Why do we say this? Why is it considered hard work? Well, we believe that achieving any form of spiritual growth takes work, takes effort and action, but it's possible. And Rabbi Sachs also references a very famous discussion between several great sages. They each suggest what is the most important line in the Torah. What is klal gadol b'Torah? What is the most important rule? So Rabbi Ben Azai proposed the verse, on the day that God created the first human being, God made him in the likeness of God. That, he said, that's the most important verse in the Torah. Ben Zoma said, no, that's not it. It's Shema Yisrael. Listen, Adonai, listen, Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. He said that's the most important one. It talks about the oneness of everything. And God is everything. Ben Nana said, no, that's not it at all. It's ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. It's love your neighbor as yourself. That's even more fundamental to Judaism. And then Ben Pazai quoted the verse, one sheep shall be offered in the morning, a second in the afternoon. Or as we might say nowadays, the traditional 3 daily prayer services, because those offerings that were offered in the great temple and in the Mishkan that was traveling through the wilderness correspond today to the 3 services that are part of our daily prayer, Shacharit, Mincha, and Ma'ariv. In a word, what Rabbi Ben Pazi was saying is routine, that's the most important. And in the end, it was agreed that Ben Pazi was correct. One sheep shall be offered in the morning, a second in the afternoon. Those routines that we keep today are no less important, especially in our time when news are broadcast 24/7 and politics seem to be toxic worldwide and war continues between Israel and Gaza and Russia and Ukraine and many other places. And modern technology has turned everybody anxious and frantic with constant communication. All this gives us a feeling of angst and worry and often powerlessness. But routines and rituals have an effect. Doctors have proven through scans and studies that repeated spiritual exercise reconfigures our brains. It gives us resilience. It makes us more grateful. And it gives us a sense of basic trust in the source of being. So routines, rituals, as Ben Pazi said, help us. Doing them, observing them, following what we're commanded, that shapes our identity, the way that we act, the way that we talk, the way that we think. And just as writers have a daily discipline of writing pages every day, just as actors have warm-ups that they do before going out on stage, just as athletes have warm-ups and practice before they play the game, the rhythms and the rituals of Jewish living adapts our brain. It gives discipline to our lives. It changes the way that we feel, the way that we think, and most importantly, the way that we act. Truly, what we do matters. In our small corner of the world is where change begins, but it can be really difficult to keep those ideals in sight with so many distractions. And we can have great ideas and inspirations and thoughts of a project that could change our life, but what happens often is that a day, a week, or a year later, we've forgotten about it, or it's become a distant memory or something that we could have done. But those who want to change the world, whether you want to do it in small or big ways, take those peak experiences and we turn them into our daily routines, believing that the details matter, that those small details matter, and developing that discipline of avodah, of hard work, sustained over time. And like the efforts of the Kohanim and the Levites, which provided a source of comfort for worshipers, our efforts to do the work also give us a sense of order, of security, of stability. The ancient Hebrew word for hard work, avodah, was the task of Aaron and his sons. And in those small, careful details, in the routine of the daily offerings, they were doing that hard work. Our great teacher Maimonides makes an important statement in his Mishnah Torah in chapter 4. He says, small things are the overflowing goodness that God gave us to settle this world in order to inherit the next. The emphasis is on small things that are filled with such goodness that they entitle one to heavenly reward. Now, whether we believe in heavenly reward or whether we think that's here on earth, essentially what Maimonides is saying is, small things are overflowing goodness because they help settle us. They settle the world. They settle the world in our minds and our hearts and in our community. And achieving that form of spiritual growth takes work and rest and practice. But with effort, it's possible because it's not the grand gestures that solve the issues or the problems in our world. It's rather those intimate, personal, caring conversations, those relationships, the avodah, the hard work that develops over many years. The poet Danusha Lamerlis writes, small kindnesses. I've been thinking about the way when you walk down a crowded aisle, people pull their legs back to let you by, or how strangers will still say, bless you when someone sneezes, which is a leftover phrase from the bubonic plague, saying don't die. And sometimes when you spill lemons from your grocery bag, someone else will help you to pick them up. Mostly, we don't want to harm each other. We want to be handed our cup of coffee hot. We want to say thank you to the person handing it to us, to smile at them, and for them to smile back. For the waitress to call us honey when she sets down the bowl of clam chowder, and for the driver in the red pickup truck to let us pass. We have so little of each other now, so far from tribe and fire. Only these brief moments of exchange. But what if they are the true dwelling of the holy, these fleeting temples that we make together when we say, here, have my seat. Go ahead, you first. I like your hat. So in this week's Torah portion, a portion that seems filled with archaic rituals, about offerings and sacrifices. Torah continues to teach us an important lesson, that small things, a soup spoon, a daily practice of prayer, or writing, or exercise, a brief moment of exchange, these habits of action that become habits of our heart, each of these are a dwelling place for the holy, a modern offering, if you will. And each of them alone is sufficient to make a difference. Shabbat Shalom. As we turn to the closing prayers of our service, we turn to page 149 for the words of Aleinu. We pray that the day will come soon when the world will be one and at peace. We rise in body or spirit. Aleinu l'shalayach l'Adonai. Page 155. In nature's ebb and flow, God's eternal law abides. God is our support in the struggles of life and our hope in death. In God's care are the souls of all the living and the spirits of all flesh. God gives us strength and comforts us. Life of our life, soul of our soul, cause your light to shine into our hearts. Fill us with trust in you and turn us again to the tasks of life. May the memory of our own loved ones inspire us to continue their work for the coming of the Messianic age. At this time, our thoughts turn to all those who have departed this earth, our loved ones, those of our friends and neighbors, and all of those people whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. We are in Shloshim at this time, the first 30 days of mourning for the following: Janet Rosenberg, the sister of Michael and the sister-in-law of Lisa Rosenberg, the aunt of Rebecca and Hannah. Rudy Schwarzenberg, the cousin of Leo Van Time. Isaiah Michael Wong Ken. We remember as well the following whose yahrzeit, the anniversary of whose death occurs this week: Harvey Palter, the father of Phil. Yetta Botnick, the mother of Harold, the mother-in-law of the late Susie and Arlene, the grandmother of Ian, Robin, Mark, Julia, and Karen. Albert Pratz, the brother of Francis Hernick. Ida Davidson, the grandmother of Robin Cerudis. Sylvia McKay, the mother of Robin Cerudis and the grandmother of Adam. John Roloff, the grandfather of Diana Farber. Abraham Stover, the grandfather of Marcy Binsky and the great-grandfather of Leah and Miranda. Ruth Harris, the aunt of David Gordon. Florence Zelding, the mother of Nelson and the grandmother of Gail, Mark, and Jeffrey. George Zimmerman, the father of Emily Goldberg and the grandfather of Alina and Michelle. Rita Pitch, the mother of Shirley Herman, the grandmother of Mark and Debbie, Ben, and Laura. The great-grandmother of Odelia, Hillel, Ayala, Itiel, Rafi, Yitzhak, and Noam. Leonard Rosenberg, the father of Michael, the grandfather of Rebecca and Hannah. Joseph Nathanson, the brother of Lila Wiersba. Salomon Lewis Van Tyne, the cousin of Leo. Annie Jerry, the grandmother of Carol Van Tyne. Morris Schiffman, the grandfather of Harvey Friedman. Beverly Schur, the sister-in-law of Linda Sage Alexander and the aunt of Alex Sage. And Jerry Willis. If there are other names that you would like to share for Kaddish this evening, you're invited to share them aloud or to hold those names in your heart. As we ask those who are mourning to please rise first, that we might say to Min Hamakom Tinachamu, may you find comfort in God's sheltering presence. Now as a community, we all rise to support those who are mourning and to say Kaddish for those who have no one to say it for them. Page 159. Yikadal v'yikadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divrach hirutei b'yamlev malchutei, v'chayechon yomechon, v'chayei d'chol bein Yisrael, ba'gala v'zman kariv v'imramein. Yehei shmei rabbah v'barach, le'alam v'lamei almaya, yisbarach v'yishtabach, v'yipa'ar v'yitramam, v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh, v'yitalach, shmei v'kudusha v'rikhu, le'elam v'kol v'irchata v'shirata, Jushvachata v'nechemata, damira v'yalma v'yimru amen. Yehi shlama rabba v'shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'yalko Yisrael v'yimru amen. Osei shalom v'yirama, hu ya'asei shalom, aleinu v'yalko Yisrael, v'yalko b'nei adam v'yimru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all those who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved among us, among all of our people Israel, and among all the nations and families of earth. We say together, Amen. Please be seated. At this time, it's my pleasure to call upon Ruth Ostrower to bring greetings and announcements on behalf of our board.
Shabbat Shalom. We begin with our thank yous to Joel Brown, our tech volunteer who keeps us connected, and to Emma Weisenbluth, who is our shamas this evening. Lots going on. Tomorrow morning there are regular Shabbat services at 10 o'clock. Sunday, there is no Beit Sefer as a result of the fact that it's Easter weekend. Let's see, next weekend, Friday, April the 5th at 8, we have our regular Shabbat service, and there will be guests from our Solel renovation team and the architects celebrating our sacred space. And on Saturday morning at 10 during the Shabbat service, we will be celebrating the Ofrif of Jenny Butler and Craig Grosskopf on their upcoming wedding. On Sunday, April the 7th, Beit Sefer classes will resume at 10 o'clock, and from noon to 2, there will be a Mention and Monsters session for those participants in grades 8 through 11 with pizza lunch provided. Additionally, the study with the rabbi will recommence on Sunday, April 7th. On the 9th, we've got our next Lunch and Learn with Leo Van Tine talking about my Dutch Jewish family, and you can join either in person or via Zoom. And then on April the 16th, we'll be having a session, Living Torah Coming to Life, which will be a session with the Soferet, who's been working on creating our new Torah. It is an all-online event, and you can keep an eye on the Shamos for more details for how to join. We also remind you that the deadline is Monday, April the 8th, to let the office know if you're going to join us for the Community Seder, which we hope you can do. And we also want to remind you, you may have seen in the Shamos, that there are baby etrog plants that are looking for a good home. And so if you're interested in taking one, please reach out to the office, who will connect you with Nicole Hansen, who is the keeper of the plants. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Ruth. It's my pleasure to call upon Nicole, who's going to lead us now in Kiddush for Erev Shabbat. On page 163, we invite you to rise, embody your spirit, and if you're at home, to raise your own cup to toast l'chaim.
Vahi Erev, Vahi Boker, Yom HaShishi. Now the whole universe, sky, earth, and all their array was completed. With the seventh day, God had ended the work of creation and rested with all work completed. Then God blessed the seventh day and called it holy. For with this day, God had completed the work of creation. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hakolim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu mitzvotav v'ratzanu, v'shabbat kodsho ve'achava u'ratzon hilianu, zikaron l'naseh Yom Tehillah L'Mikra Kodesh Zeher L'Tziyat Mitzrayim Kivanu V'chata V'yatanu Kiyashta V'kol Ha'amim V'Shabbat Kol Sheva
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We invite those gathered here to join us in the Kiddush room for some morning Shabbat. To our friends at home, we also wish you a Shabbat Shalom. May it be a day of rest and peace and joy. Shabbat Shalom.